It might join, it might not.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So the important thing for us is the ability for your users to access data through a really simple user interface. Here's Steve now, I'll let him in. An interface that doesn't mean they keep coming back to IT saying, can you go and find this file and tell me what happened? Hi, Steve, how you doing?
Oh yeah. Hi everyone. Hi David.
You haven't missed anything, and I've just started the recording, so I'll forward the recording on to you and Lee.
Great.
At the end of this, we've literally just fired up Fusion. Dave's going to talk us through the product, but essentially the idea is that it's a tool that allows you to move closed and archived data from any matter-centric system. It's easily accessible via a web browser, and then we put your deletion and retention rules over the top, and then the Fusion engine manages the destruction of electronic data. David, sorry, over to you.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is Fusion. This is a landing page, and the idea of Fusion is to be able to archive your matters and your matter data and documents from old systems, essentially. So it's an archiving system. Pretty much everything you'll see here is kind of set in stone. It's not alterable through the front end. So the users have the record as it was migrated into Fusion, and it stays as it was. The purpose of Fusion is not just to provide visibility for users to be able to see and access old matters and documents, but also to allow you to apply retention policies, which will then start to manage the data out of business. So actually delete matters. It is optional, but it is one of the primary purposes of Fusion. It is built to get rid of your data as well as store it. It's a pretty intuitive user interface. We have, well, basically, if you've used Google and you've used Amazon, then you've probably used enough systems to be able to use Fusion. Pretty much whatever you click on should take you to what you click on, and you should be kind of expecting to go there and get to the right place. So if I go to Matters, I just click on the matter, it'll go and load my matter in. I have found that it.
Is it when you're sharing on Teams? Mine does exactly the same. It's really laggy. Yeah.
Oh, does it? Well, yeah. Only today. Only literally, I went in about half an hour ago just to check all my connections were all right and running, and it just felt really slow. So yeah, apologies for that. That shouldn't come back that slowly. But yeah, I've gone through to the matter, and we'll come back to that in a minute. The dashboard is here to allow you to go back to work that you've been doing recently. So I can go to lunch, or I can come back to it in a couple of days, and I've got what I was last looking at. So I've got matters, clients, contacts, and any searches that I've done recently. If I click on a search, it'll go and perform the search. I may as well do that now. So if I click on gardens, it's going to search for the word gardens. That's searching the entire database. So the search engine underneath that gives us the speed and performance that kind of we've just seen going through the whole database. So that means that you're not just restricted to matter numbers or matter descriptions, client names, client numbers, that kind of thing. If someone phones you up in like 6 years' time after their case is closed and they're a bit vague about details and stuff, you've actually got the entirety of the information that you've captured on visual files to search against. That includes all your screen data, and optionally, you can also index documents as well and search within documents. So it's just kind of standard search engine stuff. Oh, sorry, Steve.
I was just going to ask about how the matters data is structured. Is it just a flat pull of all of the, because one of the complexities, Lee, is the intention, sorry, to use this to import the data
No,
from
so
here?
I was
No,
just typing to you
right.
in the background because I've
Sorry,
literally
right.
caught you on the hop. So the
Yeah.
intention of this, Steve, is that we would do, as we migrate practice areas over from
Yeah,
visual files to
okay.
Sharedo, we would bring the data into Fusion, and then
So
we
it
would
happens
retire the
after.
visual files license. Ultimately,
Okay.
the holy grail is we retire the whole of visual files, and then this becomes the point where you go and reference for the
Yeah.
data.
Yeah, cool. Brilliant.
And I think the beauty of it, which David will get to in the demo, I think, is that it maintains the structure of the screens and everything that they used to be able to see in visual files.
Cool.
I think.
Okay. It's the entity data that I always struggle with when it's extracted in this way.
How do you mean, Steve, that you struggle with it?
Well, if some of the excuse me, some of the relationships of the entity data differ across our different VF applications, I think they've not entirely sure how they've set entities up across the different VF apps, but it looks different across the different systems. But that shouldn't be a problem. It's only if we were importing the data from here that would be a problem, which we're not talking about here, so that's okay.
No, are you going straight from visual files to Sharedo then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, so in terms of the relationships, the most important one for Fusion is knowing who the client is. Other relationships will generally get built as contacts on your matter. So I'll show you where those come in as well. But yeah, there's I totally get what you mean about the complexities of how those relationships work in visual files. Okay, and by the way, just feel free to shout up. I won't be able to see you.
So I'll keep my eyes out for a questioning hand or a nod.
Fair enough. That's fine. Right, so I just search for gardens, as I say, standard kind of search engine stuff. So if I just look down the bottom there, I've got the gardens, and if I put that in double quotes, I'm going to search for the specific phrase rather than just a word or words. And redoing the search again basically means that the gardens have gone to the top. You can see in green here the search score, so that's a relevance score. The more times the words appear and the closer they are together and stuff like that all basically mean it scores higher on the list. And so the idea is that you can get to the information that you want without, sorry, a bit like in Google, where the stuff that you're looking for appears top of the list. Sorry, I spelled Donahue wrong. So this is my test matter. So I was just trying to search to get to that. But you'll see we've found Donahue as the client and relationship on the matter in these other ones as well. So going on the left-hand side, we've got facets. This is like in Amazon where you want a TV and then you search, you restrict the search by Samsung or 4-star review and things like that. If I'm looking through and I've done my search phrase, but the person who I'm doing the search for wants their deed or a will or something like that, I can click on the facet here to trim out all the other stuff that I was looking at and just give me things that were within the matter type of wills or deeds. Yeah.
David, quick question.
Could that trim based on the visual files application, like the source application it came from, or some other characteristic?
Yes, absolutely. So this practice, so we've got different things. We've got matter types and practice areas. So your matter types, the application types that you're talking about there are probably going to be here. This varies depending on your system. So this is just our demo system and the type of things that were in it. But yeah, so practice areas are groupings of your matter types. So it depends on exactly how your system's set up, depends on what you'll get in these sections. But that's all part of the kind of standard migration. They will all come in and it's based on, your screen menus and things like that all go into how this looks and feels for you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so although you'll see some standard kind of stuff here, yours will be different. Yours will have your names in instead.
Right. Okay. Good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so I'm going to click on the top result, which was Donahue Stevenson. This is my matter. Going through here, just top left, we've got some little icons. The icons here in order are basically the gavel means it's a matter. The fingerprint means that it's, well, in this case, not confidential because it's not lit up. It has a minor involved, so the little baby face is lit. It's set for do not delete, so never delete this record. And then the stopwatch here basically is when a matter is set to automatic deletion, and then the tick is when it requires a person to go in and purposefully approve that that matter is going to get deleted. So I've set this up pretty stringently because I do not want to lose my my demo matter. If you were to apply retention policies, then what we normally find with clients is that 90 to 95% of their matters will apply to standard retention policies, and they'll set them after a little bit of bedding in, they'll set them to automatically delete. But compliance tend to want to know that things are going to go right first before they'll set them to automatically delete. But yeah, we've got several clients now that actually automatically delete 90, 95% of their cases on the expiry of the matter. So this is our basic details: key dates, stages, general information. You can, if you want to, you can promote a screen from your screens in here. So your file cover, for instance, you might want that promoted and put on the front screen here. That's customizable. You can pick whichever ones you want. The dates here are not able to be amended, except the deletion date, which can be amended by people with the particular rights. So if you're in compliance, for instance, and you've got the correct access level, you can go in here, and I'm an administrator in this system, so it'll let me do it, and it'll allow you to change the date. So you might go in, you might go, no, we don't want to get rid of that now because I've just had a call, we've got a complaint coming in, and extend the date of its deletion for another few years. But that is one of the areas that you can change in the system. I'm just going to point them out as we go through. This is the client. If your source system is relational, which Visual Files is, then the client can be set up as well to be relational. You've got the client contacts, and then all the matters that the client is a part of. And again, you can search or go through filters and things to find the things that you're looking for. So if I just start typing some letters in there, well, that's sorry, I like to find things like that, because that should have restricted the results set. Okay, sorry, that wasn't working quite the way I wanted it to. But normally, and I'll show you that actually working, you can filter the result set by words that you type in. But you can go to other matters and then go back, and it's all browser based. So you go back on your browser and go back to where you were previously. So next along, we've got activities. It's your history in Visual Files. So the history, you have all your actual activities on the case, as well as documents. If I just search for letter, filters the list, and I only have these letters here. So on here, though, you can see that I've got documents on the right hand side. This little icon means that we've got documents in there. There are options as to how the documents are converted now. During the implementation process, we can PDF all the documents that you have, and store them as PDF at archive, so guaranteed to be opened in the same format and clarity that that you had in the original document. The alternative is to keep them as originals, but because this is browser based, we can't necessarily view like a Word doc or an Excel file or a whatever other kind of thing it is. But if it's a PDF, we can click on the record and we can view the PDF on the browser here.
And you can do that for all the file notes and stuff. Yeah, we said the same thing, Steve. Go on.
So, but there is now, we're just releasing, we're just in the process of releasing a new version where you don't have to do the PDF conversion up front during the migration. And instead, there'll be options either here on the screen for you to go and PDF so you can start to view documents, or when someone goes into a matter, as soon as they start going into that matter, then it will start PDFing the documents that are associated with it. So, and that's configurable as to which of those processes you want to adopt. But that will reduce the amount of size of documents that get PDF'd and stored. So you can download originals still. So this is an original document. If I just tick it, then the download button appears with one document in. I can just do that, or I can select all, for example, and do all 5. As soon as I click on that, it brings up the download screen. They all get zipped and encrypted. And it assigns a password for you. So you have to copy the password to your clipboard, and then you've got the option you can download, which will download the PDF, or if the PDFs aren't available, then the original document. So that would do 4 PDFs in one document, or you can choose to just download originals only and just get 5 originals.
I assume the download is configurable. You can say people can't download them. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, you can. You can say people can't as well. Yeah, you can turn that off.
Yeah. And the question from Steve was around file notes. I assume they're able to be read in the system as well.
Is a file note a document, or is it just
an email?
A note?
Could be an email that's been dragged onto a file.
Yeah.
It's in the history viewer.
Yeah, as long as it's a document in visual files in the history.
Telephone notes as well and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you can do everything that's in there will come in. So in this instance here, see this little badge on this number 2 on this document. If I click on that, so the PDF process will PDF the email, and this is an email, and then it will go and find any attachments and PDF those as well. So I've had an email, and then I've got a document on it. And if it was an email with another email attached, and that email that was attached had attachments, it would go down that whole kind of nested kind of tree. I've seen it go down like 11 nests, or whatever you call them, 11 branches, whatever.
That has been one of the issues we've had with when we were using DataSync to extract them. They couldn't see the email chain, and if they came out of sequence, it was problematic.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah.
It's and that was when you were migrating those documents to your document management system.
We found a way around it, but it was long-winded and not as. This looks a lot better. So.
Yeah, well, yes. So this will go in automatically and go in PDF and find the attachments that are on those documents. You've still got the same filters as well by activity types and things like that. This is one of the main things that people are interested in seeing when the users go into a matter. They seem to be more interested in having a look at whatever documents were sent or received to and from the client and other parties on the case. This is probably the most used elements of
David,
Fusion.
before you move off that, do you want to talk about adding a document in if there's a complaint?
Yeah. So this is one of the only other areas that you can actually alter. So you can't alter any of these, quite rightly, but you can say someone sent an email into you, and or well, client called to complain. Spelling's rubbish, isn't it? And so you can basically add a communication or an email or whatever it might be. You can drag and drop documents here, and I'll just correct my spelling before I go and commit it. And you can create an activity note. So it can have and as I say, you can have a document attached and stuff like that and things. So if I just take the document filter off, there's no documents. God, I tell you what, I've never had this many issues.
We'll blame Martin. We'll blame Martin. He's not here.
And honestly, it was problematic half an hour before the call, and now it doesn't seem to. Oh, there we are.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, look. There we are. So you can see when I do demos. So yeah. Those notes. So you can add notes, you can add documents, things like that into it post archive. Important because you don't want to be opening a case or trying to put it back into a system and stuff, just to add the fact that someone sent you an email and things. So you can work on complaints. We have people who have complaints teams who work on Fusion and add activities and deal with it without having to reopen the case, but they've got access to all the documents, all the information that was stored on the case. They've got it all here in one place. Just moving on then, financial transactions. If you use Ledger in visual files, then this is where your ledger will appear with the different bank accounts.
We'll gloss over that because we don't use it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Stay away from that hornet's nest.
So contacts, these are the third parties on the case and client contacts and things. So again, relational. If I go to any of the kind of third parties and whatnot, you will be able to see any kind of matters that are linked into them as well. Retention notes are the last place, I think, that you can actually change anything within Fusion. This is only accessible for people with the correct access, so generally compliance or whoever it is that's managing or is in charge of when data is deleted and changed and stuff like that. So here you can add a new note, but also there's system generated audits. So pretty much everything that I'm doing at the moment is audited. All the clicks I'm making, all the calls to the API are all archived off into a separate table containing all the audit information. So you can see what people have searched for and the IDs of the various matters and things that they've been into or looking at and stuff like that. But I can also here with data manager rights, basically I can go and add another note and I can say that I've received a call on this and I'm reviewing it or whatever I want to do. If I change one of these statuses, I'm just going to take this off. There we are. So I've taken that approval flag off and you can see it's automatically created an audit record, a system generated one saying that I, admin, have changed that flag to false and gives the reason for it. So I'm just going to put that back on because because I don't want that taking off because I don't want to use that matter. So basically all status changes that are related to the retention side of things there's quite a lot of automatic logging of things. If I change the date on it, you see Kalen here has changed the deletion date from one to another. It's automatically logged, so you have no real choice about that kind of thing. But also every click that I make as a user is also logged as well. Just going on to the final bit, this is called parties here only because the menu screen within the visual files application that this came from was called parties. Not a particularly nice name, but this will change depending on what you have in your system, what your menus are called, and it will make more sense to you with your data in it. If I just so this is a list of or a menu of all the screens that are on this particular matter. So if I have a look at any of these, let's look at party
like
details.
Database menu, Steve, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. This is actually a group screen as well. So you'll see I've got parties as a folder, and within that folder or group, I've got 2 group screens. So these are kind of related to each other. So my party details, I can go through typical visual files, normally click create an empty one at the end.
Yeah.
So
when they delete the first one and out of the group, it causes us issues.
And then this is the bit that Lee was alluding to earlier, where you can visualize the data on the screen. So this is where you can see what it actually looked like in the old system.
Okay.
But you got your data here as well. There's just sometimes it's nice to be able to see it how it was laid out before. Sometimes it makes a little bit more sense. But one other thing is that we've got, I always have show empty off. If I show empty and put that on, then you'll see other screens that weren't there before have started to appear. Now, when you've developed a system over time, sometimes you get stuff that just doesn't have any data in it, and it just becomes annoying, quite frankly, to try and find out where, clicking around to see what there is. It's an option. Every user can choose what they want to do with it, but I don't particularly like it. So I have show empty switched off, and these little badges basically say that you've got data in these screens. The black ones basically mean it's a group screen with data in it. Sorry, a group with data in it. If I put the show empty back off, you can see that I've got file. There's no data in here, so whatever I click on here, I'm going to get either nothing or whatever, or stuff. So when it comes up with nothing like this, it generally means that it's only labels and things like that have been put in this particular screen. I know it's a bit odd for a file cover to have just labels and stuff, but this was just a QA kind of database. So that's all your screen data, and all your screen data will go in there, and all your screen data is searchable as well within the search engine. I'll just go quickly on to expiry. This is where the expiry, the retention policies are managed. So anything that is set to auto delete, sorry, any matter that's going to be deleted in the next 28 days, I think it is, will start to appear in this list. This list you can filter and put on your different flags. So if I'm only interested in seeing auto delete files, then I've only got one. If I'm interested in seeing, have I got any confidential? Yeah, I've got 3 confidential ones. So things that are confidential will be marked as confidential, or things that involve minors generally stick out as being a little bit more important to have a look at and know that you're deleting them rather than just letting them auto delete. So we've got basically these filters work. There are 3-stage switch.
Can I just ask a quick question? So you said before there was an approval process for the option to set them as requiring approval. How does that work? Do people get notifications of when things are coming up that need approval from them, or?
They don't get notifications, no, but we do have a report that happens. I think it's, well, it's all configurable normally. So sorry, let me just go on to what happens, and then I'll come back to that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So your matters here will go into the bin. Sorry, the matters here will be on a list for you to review. There isn't a notification to say anything that's gone into this list, but on the point where it's going to get deleted, it goes into a bin first. Now, the bin is a separate system. It's viewable by people who have access to the bin. That's generally your data and deletion managers will have access to it. And so they can have a look at the things that are in the bin and they can review them from there. And that's typically when people will start to become interested in the matters. If you can imagine, you probably process, tens or hundreds of matters a day. So for someone to go through all that bulk would be quite a task, which is why we've tried to make it a little bit easier with the auto delete and things like that, and only having people being able to search for things that are probably more relevant. When it's in the bin, it stays in the bin for, again, a configurable amount of time. We've got a client that does it on a weekly basis. We've got others that do it on a monthly basis, and that's emptying the bin. And when you do that, bin empties, that's it, the matters are gone. But until that time, people can go and review them. And when it goes in the bin, then you get a notification saying that this matter, whatever it is, you're notified that it's gone into the bin. You'll get a whole list of them, and typically that will go to your compliance team. So then they can have a look, they can go through, they can select the bin, they can have a look at the matters, they can see what flags are on it, and they can decide what they want to do with those cases. The ones with the manual approval will not go in the bin until they are approved. So basically that means going and ticking the box. So you will get a build-up. If no one goes in, you will get a build-up of all the ones that it said, I want a person to look at this first.
Mm-hmm. And there's reporting that you can pull a report of those and
there isn't a report as such, but it's a very easy query on the SQL side of things. So a report could be built very quickly.
Okay, cool.
So that's basically how the whole of that works. And obviously from here, again, it looks like I can click on these and I can go in. I can go. I think this one should be extended, and as with the correct rights, I can go in. I can basically put another date on that and change it and get it out of the list.
So I think for compliance and deletion teams, having this one place to go and having the audit trail to show what, who, where, and when is a real big selling point internally, because at the moment it's quite a manual process for most law firms. They've got spreadsheets doing the rounds, or they'll send a list out to all the feelers saying, I'm going to delete these in the next 10 days, and they never ever hear back from anybody, and it just becomes a painful exercise. But giving them a central location where they can go in, do their job, have it audited, it's a real game changer for those individuals.
Okay.
Just a little bit on the admin side. So these sections, core is available to all users. That's your search and looking at matters. GDPR is only accessible to data and deletion managers, and admin is only available to what we call admin, but it's like an IT admin kind of thing. So I'm in basically I'm a super user. I've got all the rights, so I can see all of these. But your data managers won't be able to see admin, and your admin won't necessarily be able to see GDPR, because the management of data is kind of slightly different to the management of IT. But you can create users with all the rights if you want someone to be able to go in and be able to basically see exactly what I can see here. Just whizzing through these quickly. So this is our auditing. We don't have a kind of formal report that comes off this at the moment. All the data is stored behind the scenes in the auditing database, but essentially I can see what activities I've been doing over the period of time. So from when I started it just after 4 o'clock to when the actual demo started and all the stuff I've been doing since. And you can also see a map of kind of what's been happening and when. Caelan's been in there, and Amir and Caelan have been in there. So, you know, basically, I know what the people, what my guys are doing as well, you see, which is nice.
Can I just ask, so, I mean, our data retention policies at the moment, I think, are they 6 years, Lee?
Yeah, 7 years beyond case closure, I think, but
yeah,
7 years beyond the 18th birthday or 16th birthday for minors or something like that.
So I'm just thinking, because we're going to have a mad glut of these coming as we migrate the cases to ShareDo. We're going to have a lot that are within that period where they're not actually hitting the start. How will that work, Lee?
Go on, what was the question?
Well, talk us through it, Steve.
Well, the cases will still be open because they're in ShareDo.
Yeah.
So the clock won't want to be counting on those, will it?
No. So for your live cases, they won't be in Fusion until you close them out. So what we're talking about here is taking up everything that's closed and archived in visual files
out of VF.
Out of VF, which is somewhere between 1 day and 7 years after it was closed. They will sit in there, and at the appropriate time, Fusion will say, right, I can now delete these files. For your live files that you've probably moved from visual files into ShareDo, what you do is, as a secondary project, is then decide how or what period of time you want to move documents or cases from ShareDo into Fusion. And as David said, we've got one Capsticks, fairly large firm in London. They do it on a monthly basis. Other people do it on a quarterly basis. Some do it when they get round to thinking about it. So if you think
we've got bigger fish to fry than archiving cases in ShareDo right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if in your head, Stevie, if you could say this is just closed and archived data that's currently in visual files that you don't want to migrate into ShareDo. So that's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does now. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I didn't know whether we were going to be sort of moving the data into Fusion while it was still active, but
no,
I do know.
No, I wouldn't have said so. And also, you'll probably find that you have multiple rules around deletion of data. So it does depend on the type of work. There are certain legal obligations, but also you may have some client obligations that are different to your legal obligations. So again, you need to make sure they're documented and then applied into the Fusion engine so that the right policy is picked up.
So just to explain that as well, so if you during the project, if you're doing retention, then you'll supply your retention policies. They'll get coded, and then basically as your data moves through into Fusion, it'll have the retention policy applied to it and the expiry date set. So this screen here is systems. It just demonstrates that it's smoke and mirrors. We only have one system in this particular demo system, and that's the visual files VF1, the red one. All the others are just to show that we can take multiple systems side by side, same interface, nothing changes. But you can also assign users with the rights to go into particular systems and not others.
Can you just remind me of I can't remember for the life of me. It's been a while. Like what the hosting architecture is for this. So what does it look like?
Yeah, so it's hosted by you. It's internal, so it's kind of on-prem. You can put it in your private cloud and stuff like that if you want. This is running on Azure, this particular demo, and you. So you've got an application server, you've got a SQL server, or you can coexist on a SQL server that already exists if you've got one. So
and you probably put it on secondary data storage as well, so there's cheaper data storage.
Any documents, yeah.
So you could use Azure Blob, like cool tier storage for the data.
For documents.
For documents,
yes, I'm not quite sure about the blob, but as long as we can get to the document using a URL, using a UNC path.
Oh yeah, sorry, you could use Azure files then,
yeah.
And can you?
That would be fine.
So if the data is already on Azure files, you can't just point at it. You've got to go through the process creating the PDF, archiving it, and then the old one.
So if it was any system other than visual files or Solcase, where they take the extension off and they replace it with .hst, yes, you could. But actually, we do have to still, you can leave it all in place, but we still have to go through that rename process where we go, this isn't a .hst, it's a .doc, and this is a .msg, and this is .xls.
And then you convert it to PDF and spit it out, essentially.
Yeah, so that bit again, that's kind of optional. So depending on how many documents you've got, you may not want to create 20 million PDF files up front. You might want to do it on the basis that if someone's looking at a matter, they can go and request the PDFing of those documents. That's the new version that's coming out. So you've got the options. You don't even have to PDF them. It's just if you don't PDF them, then people can't see them. Can't click on them and see them on the screen. You have to download them and then open them and stuff. And it's not quite as nice.
I'm just thinking that most of my visual files documents sit on Azure files already, and I've got an awful feeling that we've got immutability enabled. I can't delete any of them for so many years. So I'm stuck with a glut of documents. It's a necessary evil, unfortunately, because I wouldn't want someone to be able to go in.
Can you rename the extensions?
No, you can't. No.
Right, okay.
No.
Fine.
I don't think so. Maybe you can. It might be the backup. That might be the backup of the Azure files you can't change, but we'll figure it out anyway.
Any other system, then yes, you could, but just not visual files because of the .hst rubbish that they've got.
Right. And let's just say I acquire another firm that's visual files. I could just bring it in as a secondary system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would just have it. You'd put a different color on it and call it something different. I was just going to show you the dashboard. Everything I've been to so far has had this red flag on it, this VF1. It's just so that you know exactly when you're in anything, you can see which system you're in. So
and
you
that
can
could
bring
be
in
HF or whatever. I suppose any name you like.
Yeah, whatever. If I just go in here, you'll see I can, if I edit this, then I can choose the color, I can choose whether it's online or offline, and I can choose the initials that it's got on it.
Okay. That's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
I think
probably the last thing for me to there's two little bits as users. So in here you can see the rights, so you can give them admin rights, data manager, deletion manager, you can lock their account and stuff, you can give them access to the different systems, allowed or denied, and whether they've got confidential access to them. And then practice areas, these are the bits right at the start you were saying about the groupings and the matter types and whether it could be aligned to your system. These are just a standard set of practice areas that we put in, but these can be changed to group your matter types as you want them grouping. You might, if you only do if you're a big conveyancing firm, you might only really have one or two practice areas, and they'll have a group of matter types beneath it. But this can all be tailored to what you want. And lastly is the lookup. So most of the migration work we will do kind of on our own as such. But there are some things that need mapping. So for as an example, you've got activity types. If I go here to edit mappings, so it's kind of making what you have in your visual file system mean something, or be a bit more standard and user friendly in the front end. So for instance, in visual files where we saw activity codes on history that are email, email in, email out, and email out, because it's got a different code on there, MLO and ELMP, we're going to take all of them and we're just going to show the user that it's an email. And so when I go to the history screen on a matter and I'm looking at these typings, so I go back to the activity. So here, this is where I see email and not the different codes and different notations,
That's quite
stuff like that.
Bit neater, isn't it, to look at?
Yeah. You find your way around the data.
And what it means is if you do take another system in and it's got different codes, then users aren't going to get confused between, well, is this emails in? What's that? Is that different to email in and stuff like that? All you'll do is you'll get all the new codes in the right-hand side from the new system, and you'll just drag and drop them in. So anything that's relating to an email, you'll drag and drop them into this group, and then the user interface for the user stays consistent, stays nice and easy for people to use.
Right.
The only other thing that practice area one that we looked at before, that one needs to be done so that you can even see any data within it. So this hasn't been fully mapped, but it's got enough in for my demonstration stuff. But this does need to be done so that you can actually go and see your records. Otherwise, you won't be able to assign permissions to it, and if you don't have permissions to it, it won't let you see it. So that's kind of the reason why. But yeah, that one needs to be done pre-go live. All the rest of them actually can be done whenever you want, to be honest. The same with the retention policies. We can apply them after go live as well. It doesn't have to kind of stop you archiving the stuff just because you're still going round the decision-making processes to what they're all going to do.
And I think I might have asked this when we did the demo last time. Full SQL, as in SQL on a virtual machine, or can it run on PAS?
It cannot be. Well, first of all, it can't be the Express edition, and secondly, it can't.
Given the size of the database.
Yeah, you may not. Yeah, you may want to be a bit stronger.
You can always tell people's backgrounds by their comments around
SQL
different
Express.
SQL. I suspect David's more aligned to mine than yours, Lee. Let's leave it there.
So, and the other thing it can't be at the moment is it can't be on, you can spin up Azure SQL, which is basically a SQL server in Azure. It's kind of like packaged as a SQL Azure system. But what it isn't is it's not a VM with, sorry, it's not an Azure instance that you put SQL onto. It has to be, yes, it has to be a proper managed instance, yes. Not the SQL Azure, I think it's called.
So SQL on a virtual machine, essentially.
Yes.
Not Azure SQL, which is the serverless version.
Yeah.
Not that one.
That's
it's only because they keep changing the mind.
My favourite. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Well, they keep changing the mic. So we need CLR enabled for certain bits of processing, and
as long as it doesn't have the enterprise.
no, it doesn't. As soon as
we ain't got any of them.
No one does. It's exorbitant, isn't it? But yeah, the Azure SQL, as soon as they stop changing their mind as to how they're going to deal with CLR, then we'll support it. But they keep putting it in and then taking it out again. So I think it's currently out but it's been in and out, as far as I remember, like 2 or 3 times already. So it's kind of, you know, we're just waiting for them to kind of make it right.
Okay.
Was that a good enough reminder, Lee, as to what it all does?
Yes,
and what it is?
I remember it well now. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then,
Yeah.
Stephen, do you think it will deliver what you're hoping to deliver?
Yeah, it looks more in line with what we need.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think we need to ditch the DataSync license, though, Martin. I don't think we need it. I think we only did a 12 months, didn't we? Anyway.
Let me check with David. We'll go offline and have a look. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need that because we're just not. I'm right, Steve, aren't you? You're not using DataSync in any way.
No, because of the way we're going to be pulling the cases across, we've already got ProtoSQL. The only bit really that would have been useful was the document bit, but we found that we've got to go in and manipulate it so much to rename them and everything anyway, that, you know, it's almost like doing the job again. So
yeah, okay.
Found it, I won't lie, it was useful for grabbing bits of seeing how you did it at times.
So it was worth it for 12 months, right?
Yeah. It's paid for itself there. So no, but
that's fine.
Yeah. I think the big problem is we're going to have lots of small migrations, and just having that day overlap of time for it to be synced wasn't really workable for us. But
all right, no worries. We'll go away and look at that, and what I'll do, Lee, I'll get across the statement of work for Fusion, and I'll let you know what we're going to do about the DataSync. I'll have a chat with David after this.
Okay.
But yeah,
Can I just ask one more question?
I was looking at...
Oh, sorry, David. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, Lee. Can I just ask, when you're migrating your data into Sharedo, what kind? I'm assuming you're probably going to go, I don't know, department at a time or practice area at a time or something like that.
Yeah.
Are they going to be staggered with reasonable gaps between? You're not going to do like one this week and then one the next week and stuff.
No. Typically they'll be staggered. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The way we've only done one migration in anger so far. We learned a lot from that, didn't we, Steve? And there's another one coming, so that's been probably 4 or 6 weeks between each one.
Right. Okay.
They might get a little closer together, but yeah.
David's doing some Sharedo migrations for his mother firm as well, so he's becoming quite clever about finding a way around Sharedo, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I can swap anecdotes at some point.
We could talk about public API deficiencies over a beer at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
cool.
fun and games.
All right, leave that with us, David. I'll give you a call straight after this. But other than that, guys, speak to you very soon.
Yeah, if you can share the recording, Martin, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll do that now for you as well. Yeah. All right.
Nice one.
Take it easy.
All right.
Cheers. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.